Now my question is, how many more people have to die at the hands of ISIS before we get a clue? This is not something that Obama can blame on Bush, like we all know he likes to do. The fact is that ISIS did not even exist when Obama took office. ISIS filled the power void in Iraq when he so hastily left. Obama pulled our troops out regardless of what his military commanders said, and within months we had these Muslim extremists, and yes, that is what they are, driving around in our Humvees that we left there in Iraq. Obama created the perfect breeding ground for these low-life parasites, and now the world and innocent people are reaping those consequences. But that is in the past. We now need to focus on strategies going forward. To me, the ISIS solution is easy. In concept, maybe harder in implementation. We get together with NATO and we eradicate them. That's it. With ISIS attacking France and now Belgium, both of whom are NATO allies, NATO, under the direction of the United States, needs to act. After all, isn't an attack on one an attack on all? And weren't both of these acts an attack? Yes, this action would include ground troops, because with a full NATO force, we can rid them of in a matter of months. The problem is that there is no leadership to undertake an action like this. NATO is looking to America for direction, and we don't have the leader to give it. That is why we need somebody who can lead. I mean, Obama didn't even come home early from Cuba because of the attack. I mean, I guess his baseball game was much more important. Now, if NATO has an obligation to France and Belgium, and if it continuously allows clandestine groups such as ISIS to freely attack its members, it will cease to exist. Because what good is an alliance that doesn't defend its members? Now, Claire, what do you think about my NATO strategy? Because I know a lot of people, they say, America shouldn't go at this alone. I was talking to somebody at the law school the other day, and that was his main concern. He says, you know, we think we have to do something against ISIS, but I think America shouldn't do it alone. And I think this is purely in the purview of NATO. What do you think?
I also believe that America shouldn't do it alone. I believe that America should do it with the help of the Middle Eastern nations. My issue with your strategy isn't how many people are involved, it's how are you going to achieve it. ISIS it's not like Al-Qaeda under Bin Laden. It's not a snake. You can't just cut off the head and then it's over. They've just indicated they have to. ISIS it's a series of cells. There's not a lot of communication between the cells. There's not a lot of shared ideology, except they want Westerners out of the Middle East, which that's been happening since the Cold War, the Gulf War. Like it's been breeding for the better part of the last century.
Well, there's always been Muslim extremists. I'm talking, of course.
I mean, there's also always been Christian extremists. Religious extremism is not reserved to Muslims. There are extremists.
But it's the Muslim extremists that are doing these acts. And to me, you know, I understand what you're saying, that you just can't cut off the head. And I'm all for bombing every single settlement they have. That's what I'm up for.
You can't do that.
Why not?
Because first of all, there are international regulations. We have international relationships with nations in the Middle East, and you basically have to bomb the entire Middle East, all of Pakistan, all of Iran, all of Iraq, all of Israel, all of them.
Just where ISIS is.
But you don't know where ISIS is.
Well, if you go after their major supply camps, you go after their major camps, that's going to hurt them quite a bit. And it's going to demoralize them.
Do you know what, not you specifically, because that's a ridiculous argument, but does anyone definitively know where the major supply camps are?
Oh, absolutely. The CIA, they know. If they didn't know, that'd be CIA negligence. Our foreign officials, they know exactly where they are. And that's what I'm saying. It's, to me, let's just like we did with the Iraq invasion, just eradicate them. The biggest problem is, once you do eradicate ISIS, that's where the big problem with me comes in, and that, okay, so we got ISIS out of there, then once again we have this power void. So the important thing is to make sure we don't allow another group like ISIS to fill that power void again, because that's all that will happen. We can eradicate ISIS, real simple, and then that power void's there, and somebody else comes in and fills exactly what ISIS just did. So what we need to do is to make sure no other extremist groups fill that void again.